Hello, everyone, and Merry Christmas. Um, Hope everyone's having a good time, enjoying time with your families. I'm out in the garage, so I can keep working on getting shit done on a race car. So, for those of you who aren't super familiar with King of the Hammers or desert racing, King of the Hammers, you don't get a support crew out on the trail. If you break something out on these rock trails, all you have is what you bring with you. So if you break an A-arm or you break an axle shaft or you break a shock, you are either trying to figure out how to get it fixed or you're done for the day, and you still got to get it out of the trail. There's no, for us regular guys, there's no helicopter extraction. So the big thing is trying to figure out how to safely carry parts with you out on the trail and making sure you got the right tools, the right parts, nuts, bolts, extra wire connectors. I mean, you got to, prepare for the worst, but also not overpack the car. We're not dragging a trailer out there. We're still going to be going 80 plus mile an hour across the desert. So, and the fact I've never run hammers before, I'm still learning. But I've been out there pitting and watching a ton of videos. I'm just going to do my best for what I can, but I'm not a huge fabrication shop. It's just me in a 2-car garage making stuff happen. But in the big ideas, I always, if I get ideas from somewhere, it's looking at somebody else's car, and was checking out one of the spec Pro Rs from Polaris at a race I was at down in Iowa this year. I was looking at how they were carrying their axle shafts, and they were locating the bottom of the axle shaft just in a tube, and then locating or holding the upper end in just a slotted spot with the axle nut holding it in place. So what I did, the ones I saw were on the back of their cars. So I do not have room on the back of the car to do what they got going on. I left the tail predominantly short compared to what some of those are. But so what I did, and here's just a view of what's going on. Driver's seat. We have behind the driver's compartment, there's a little bit of dead area. And what we have are a front and a rear axle shaft. Now, it makes life a little bit more difficult because the Turbo R does have 2 different length and 2 different spline axle shafts, so that we can't, unfortunately, carry just one axle. We have to carry 2. So in the case of a broken axle out there on the trails, we will have the capability of getting one of these swapped out. So like I was talking here, the axle nuts are going to be in place, and they're what's holding this axle shaft in spot. This will all actually, you'll be lucky if you see these by the time the plastics and everything are on the car. But for people asking, like, well, is it going to bounce around? Is it secure? Is it going to rattle? There's a little, I'm going to end up taping up the spline so that I don't have any wear on the splines when it goes together. But for the most part, they're pretty secure in the way of the world. And just to give you a quick idea of what we got going on here. Oh, I flipped the wrong way. I went the wrong way. So, get my fancy little camera holder in there. Oh, we're slipping. I don't really feel like editing this, so. You can see the axle shaft there. Got the handy dandy Milwaukee. In Algonquin, that means the good land. With our 30 millimeter socket, and we can go right here, throw it right on there, hold on to the axle shaft, turn the impact the right way. Can loosen that up, take our impact off. Nice snug fit in there. And pop out our axle shaft. So set that aside there. A little bit better idea of what I got going on. So This is just a piece of flat bar welded to the seat frame. Has some 1 3/4 120 well tube that is locating the axle shaft on the bottom. This is a chunk of angle iron. We're using one of the seat bracket mounts that we aren't using for the seat belts anymore, and then tying that into the ropes there. But yeah, I mean, would love to have all the fabrication tools in the world, but what I got is you know, what's in my cute little 2-car here. But we're going to do what we can with what we got. I just wanted to show you that quick little deal there on axle shaft transportation and storage in a race car out here for the King of the Hammers. I made that bracket bolt-on just because for most other races I will not carry axle shafts with. There's an endurance race I want to run out here in June out in Montana that we might carry an axle shaft with for that. But yeah, that can be removable. You can barely see that. You basically can't see that once the doors and everything are on the car, but just wanted to give you that cute little piece that I built for the car to run axle shafts through, or I didn't say run axle, to store axle shafts while we're out here running hammers. I hope everyone's having a Merry Christmas. Like 2 more hours here, I'll have some fresh pulled pork off the smoker, and yeah. Subscribe, watch, save. Tell me if you hate it. I have thick skin. Can't hurt my feelings. At least not what I'm going to physically show. But like, subscribe, tune in. Might keep trying to do this. Laters.